be attributed to a lot of these pawn pushes in the center. A lot of pawn moves, bro. A lot of pawn moves. Do you see how many pawn moves he made? And then if you look at the position now, I have 1, 2, 3, 4 pieces developed. And he's got a weak pawn structure. My pawn structure is actually fairly chilling. Not really. I guess this is weak. But let's go check with the computer. It's a little bit of a shorter video, but I mean they do a 1720, so I don't want to be picking on lower rated opponents like this. But he played quite well. He played quite well. But at some point there is no more playing well because there's no good moves to play. So like in the end, he was going to lose no matter what happened after a couple of those sequences. So let's check it with the computer, see how accurate it actually was, and I will see you over there. And here we are in the analysis, and I almost feel bad for our opponent because he was in a losing position where there were no good moves to play for like a long time, and those positions suck to play and they're no fun, and you're like trying to figure out what move to play, and no matter what you play, you're still losing, and those are the worst positions. It's definitely worse in like a real rapid game that's like 10 minutes plus 5 seconds or something, and you're just like spending 6 minutes of your life losing. Sucks. That's why bullet is fun. And so if we look at this graph, we see just a clean tail, and look how long the end game lasted. Normally it's like middle game is here and the end game is this entire portion, but it's like the opening over with, the middle game over with, the end game non-existent. And so it was quite a short game. I don't even know how many moves. I guess we'll find out. But if we look at this, I played 90% accurate, and basically everything that I played was great. Out of the opening, I made a tiny inaccuracy that I actually know about, and for whatever reason just forgot and played the wrong move. Then I made a mistake in the end game, but it went from like you're gonna win to you're gonna win in 3 more moves than what you just had. And then our opponent, 2 blunders, 2 mistakes, 3 inaccuracies, and he had a hard to play position. So let's just hop right into it. We play c6 and we just throw our pawns into the center. We're basically playing the Caro-Kann structure, okay? Now, after c4, the reason you don't bring the bishop out is because this capture, you have to capture back, and the queen arrives here to b3, okay? Applying pressure to this and this. What you're supposed to do is just bring the knight, let him grab this, and you just have a slightly worse position, but it's worse than that because you even can get hit with pawn pushes like this that open up this diagonal. This knight hasn't developed yet. This knight is ready to jump in and attack anything that you put on these squares to break that pin, and it becomes... I've lost many games. I have lost many games because of that simple pawn capture, and I developed the bishop. So what you're supposed to do is when you see c4, you bring the knight first, because then it's all the world of difference. All the world of difference. If they capture, you can capture with the pawn, but you're safe from this for reasons I'm not going to fully be able to explain. You're fine. Bring the knight first, or else it gets hairy. So I don't do that, and I play an inaccuracy, but it's not too bad, you know what I mean? I think we would have survived. And he is just making pawn moves on the side of the board. It is not what you want to do. He has developed a piece. We make a pawn move, but I think it was essential. He makes another pawn move. We develop a piece. He makes another pawn move. We make another pawn move. And trading this off essentially just developed my queen. So if we clarify what's going on here, so we just capture, then we develop the bishop. He then goes for this. But if we just go back to this position and we take a look, we see I have a developed bishop, develop. My queen is essentially developed. I'm ready to castle. Now look at our opponent's position. Not developed, not developed, not developed, not developed, not ready to castle. Yikes. That is not what you want to see. So it says minus 0.3, but he has been making not the smartest and wisest decisions out of the opening. So technically I'm supposed to just castle and be brave, but the reason I was worried about that is I didn't want the knight to come in and then I have to take, and then if this happens, if I move the knight, this is kind of hanging once I castle because nothing is defending this bishop. So I took out the bishop first. Don't hate it. But the reason that's not great is the bishop can just go back here and break this. This is the weak diagonal. So when he plays this, it's a huge blunder because this this knight is on the weak diagonal, and now your bishop can no longer go to this square to break the pin. So I didn't see how powerful just coming forward and pinning that pinned piece was, because essentially I could just do that. You got to do something to defend it. If you defend it with the queen, you're just getting hit with check immediately. If you defend like this, I'm still just coming forward, and there's no way to defend this. So if you move this knight, I can for one just take, and then these are hanging. If you move the bishop, I just take this. I could even take with the queen and force this. There was just no way to defend this knight. And so the reason that I missed that is because normally you're attacking pinned pieces with ferocity with the bishops. You're not doing it so much with the queens. Like this idea is pretty easy to find with any piece, I guess, but normally you're doing it with a bishop, so I wasn't looking at like pin and attacking the pinned piece coming from a queen. Okay, I missed it. Don't hate it. We jump forward, and essentially what this is doing is trading off his developed pieces. Now I still have developed pieces. If you see, my queen's develop, and he's got one developed piece. So I'm still winning on development because we traded off 2 of my developed pieces for 2 of his developed pieces, but I still got more developed pieces. Okay? Not to mention, that developed my rook as well. So like I didn't castle, but it did the same purpose. All that matters is the rook being able to get to this open file. So he goes ahead and pushes. I step forward with this check now. The reason it's not so great is he can kind of just like get in the way with his queen. And if I give this check, he can get in the way with the queen. And if I give this check, he can get in the way with the queen. And he can just like trade the queens at some point where I'm going to have to take, and he steps back, and then he's attacking my bishop, and I would have to step back. And it's actually more or less an equal-ish position because if he's capable of trading off the queens, he's not going to get checkmated anymore. And so I know that blocking with the knight was the worst decision because now my rook is coming. Then, for whatever reason, I assumed because this was being attacked that this move would not work. I guess it's a complicated move. You know, this is under threat. This is here. I mean, the knight is pinned, and then there's some things you need to calculate. Like, what if I play this and he just takes, and I take? I don't know. Whatever. I didn't see it. You know what? So I step back. But you know what? We still got the option there. We step back, and he tries to get rid of it, but it doesn't even make any sense because I can just take that pawn because the knight is still pinned. So it's just no good. And so at this point, he realizes, oh no, this is a threat. He realized it more than I even did because I still was worried about the knight somehow doing it. So he's stepping out of this to avoid this pin and to avoid the rook coming in and pinning the queen to the king. A lot of pins going on in this position. See what happens when you don't develop your pieces in castle? You just get, everything just gets pinned. So now my rook is on the 7th rank, and so is your king. So it's just a bad, bad position for our opponent. The king steps forward, and it seems like an equal trade. It seems like what's going on. I guess what was he supposed to do? Block like this and just let the bishop, let's just let the bishop die? You're supposed to just allow this? I mean, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. What if you step back like this? Then I'm coming in with ideas like this. And if you block, then I'm going to attack you like this. Oof, it gets rough. So that's what I'm saying. In positions like this, it's hard to find a move because there are no moves. Everything sucks. It's -7, so you're completely cooked. And that's crazy. -7, but we have the same material essentially. Like, I guess I'm up a pawn. But -9 for the position of the king. His king is the most advanced piece. And so this looks like when my queen arrives here, it looks like, okay, this is an equal trade, but it's just not because your king is going into the middle of the board. And then when I take your knight, I'm attacking everything. So it looks like, okay, if you grab my knight, I grab your bishop. That's what it looks like. But that's not really the case. Yes, that happens. But then your king is literally on e4 in the middle of the board. You're supposed to put pawns on e4, not kings. Not in this type of position. This is a middle game position, and it happens. And so we go ahead and just take here first. And then if you look at the position, it's suggesting push pawns on the side of the board, throw away a piece essentially to just, there's nothing that you can do. So he develops the queen, and unfortunately, this is coming. So the idea here is make the king move away from touching this pawn. And there's a couple different ways you can do that. I mean, he can't even move here. He can't even move here. So all you got to do is touch the king. So I play this. And like I said, if he plays this, he's just getting checkmated. Okay? If he plays this, then that is what happened. Then I just take the pawn. Then you're just losing the queen. This is going to happen. The king steps back. There's a lot of different things I can do. He comes here. Oh boy. I hit you with another check. You run in the corner. You're getting checkmated like this. If you run this way, probably I would start pushing some pawns. I'd probably push this pawn and try and like wiggle the king out somehow and checkmate him. I feel terrible for our opponent. If you enjoyed watching that video, I hope that it was long enough. The game was like 10 minutes. The analysis was like 10 minutes. So what can be learned from this? The main 2 things. Okay, if you're playing the c6 opening, if you're playing the c6 opening and you see c4, develop the knight first, then bring the bishop. It's complicated. Why? That is better, but you play that. Okay, let's just look into it. If they capture, if the queen comes out, then you develop. Oh, it's not that complicated. It's not that complicated. This is not hanging. That is why. That is the entire difference. If you develop the bishop, then this gets attacked with queen b3. It attacks this pawn with tempo. That's the simple explanation. So if you play the bishop when he captures. When the queen comes out, this is immediately threatened. Immediately this is threatened. And if you come up, then you're just getting hit. And you come over here, then it's getting spicy. So that is why. That is why. You see c4, do this. Then, in the beginning, don't push a pawn on the side of the board. Develop a piece, okay? And then not only that, the pawns are what are like make the structure of the game. And so after he has pushed these pawns, this square and this square, these two squares became incredibly weak. And I mean, if we look forward, that was important. Those weak squares, because all those pawn pushes. Look at these squares. Look at these squares that got weak because of all of this. And so there we go. One other thing, tactics. Just play the most powerful forcing move first. Just because you attack my bishop doesn't mean I have to move it. I can attack your queen. And so it was complicated because it looks, there's the pin going on. I wasn't sure. You know what I mean? I had 4 minutes. I have no excuse why I missed that. So either way, if you learned anything or you simply enjoyed watching my chess videos, thank you for watching them. Please subscribe if you haven't, or don't. It's okay. Some people just watch and don't subscribe. But, leave a comment and let me know, or else I'll never know you were here. So thank you guys so much for watching. That was the best. I love you guys. I'll see you in the next one. Get out of here. Bye. Oh, hello, and welcome back, and thank you so much for clicking on my video. In today's episode, we are facing a 1950 with the Caro-Kann, my favorite, best opening that is known to chess. It is so easy to play. This dude is from planet Earth. Looks like he doesn't play bullet. Oof, I hate this line. But essentially what we're going to do is we're going to trade off. We're going to bring the queen out. Go ahead, pre-move it. We get hit with the knight, and it's kind of like a Scandinavian-esque type idea. And so, anticipating the position right now, I'm missing pawns on this side of the board. So essentially, I'm not going to castle that way. I mean, castling this way, I'm on a super open file. So just taking one look at the position, I probably am going to want to castle this way. Now, what we're a little bit worried about is something like this. So it might make sense. Develop this first. We're going to develop this knight first. I guess knights are more flexible, so we're going to develop the knight first. Then we might go for this Fan-Ketto idea. I think we're going to do it. I never play these types of structures. The queen, yes, has been attacked. I have a scarce amount of squares to go to that actually are very reasonable. These get in the way of my pieces, so we're not going to do that. This walks into an attack. This walks into an attack. This is taken. This... I'm losing track of what squares I should look at. Maybe this is actually the correct idea. I'm not actually sure. Or just going all the way back. Let's go over to the side of the board. I feel like that makes a fair bit of sense. At least I'm still doing stuff. Okay, he's going to hit me again. But in that case, we're getting ready to castle. If my queen does get attacked, bro, we're going all the way back. My queen has been battered around enough. We put the queen back. We're ready to castle. We castle. My king is now safe. I like my structure. Like I was saying earlier, the knights are more flexible than the bishop, and I'm not sure what I want to do with this bishop, so we're going to just bring this knight first. That's the general plan. We also have ideas of taking this and having two attackers on this pawn. Not sure what that did. We play this. I needed to develop my last minor piece. And so seeing that I've got a lot of these pawns on light squares, I think that just trading this off makes a decent amount of sense. We don't really want to see this guy jump forward. We're going to push this pawn. I mean, if this pin happens, we're okay with just vacating this back rank somehow. Maybe even we go back over here. What we need to be a little bit cognizant of... Okay, so yes, this pin just happened. We need to be a little bit worried about this knight coming into our position, okay? My queen is pinned. This is only defended by one piece, so what we're worried about is it getting attacked again, okay? So we essentially need to be able to avoid that, because if this happens, I just lose the game. Long story short, if this knight comes over, we lose the game. I can bring my queen all the way forward. That's a bold move. It defends against this. It defends against this. We're not going to calculate too much, but my opponent is playing very active. Oh, hello and welcome back, and thank you so much for clicking on my video. In today's episode, we are facing a 1950 from Planet Earth. It looks like he doesn't play very much Bullet or Blitz, and so we're playing a 5 minute casual plus 5 second increment. I've been really enjoying this time control. Okay, so I've explained this in my last 3 videos, so I feel like a broken record explaining this again, but the reason that we have to play this pawn move is because if we bring the knight, he can capture. If we capture back, he hits us with this fork where we step back with the bishop. We have to recapture when he takes. So it's just like this. Boom, 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 boom. And then he can hit us here. He occupies the center. It's just not super great for us. Or you develop, he takes, and you come out with the queen. He basically has to go back. You can win this pawn with check. The queen comes out and you shred like this. Whatever you do, it's an equalizing position for white. So we're going to strive not to have that happen. We're going to go ahead and develop this knight. If this pawn comes forward, we're going to try and break this pin. It has not happened yet, so we're going to just develop another knight. Once this pawn push does happen, okay, so he's prepping it like this, and he will be doing so with tempo, and the pin will become a problem. So we're going to stop these ideas, essentially. So I think we have to take, not sure what else we're supposed to do in that situation. We have 2 attackers, but he also has 2 defenders, so we're just going to step up here. If we get hit, we step back. If we get hit yet again, we step back. We step back. If we get hit again, you better believe we're just going to step back one more time. He could play this one as well and ruin my pawn structure in the center. And this pawn is also hanging, but it's not super hanging because of all of this. Okay, so we're going to take. We're going to trade this. It's scary to jump forward with this knight. But with threats, my friend, we jump forward with threats. Correct? We jump forward with threats. He comes here. I mean, scary to play that move, but we're going to just go ahead and do it. That is the idea. Plain and simple. I'm pretty sure he can just slide back with the rook. Like, I think that would be agreeable. Okay, so this slightly ruins the pawn structure in the center of the board. But what we need to be looking at now is my knight. When I get attacked, what am I doing? I mean, ruining my pawn structure over here? I actually don't hate it. What to play? What to play? I could just castle. I, for whatever reason, wanted to castle the other way, but we are just gonna play a safer game of chess. He probably will attack my knight. I'll probably have to go back here, and we end up with this ruined pawn structure. But he's got a ruined pawn structure in the center. And these pawns are going to be a little bit hard to defend, specifically this one that is already being attacked. So he attacks us. I mean, we can just take a look at our moves. Moving forward is not an option, not an option, not an option, not an option, only option, not an option. So that's the end of the calculation. I guess I could have pinned. This. So where if he takes, I take the rook. We still have this idea where potentially we do trade and he undevelops. So we can grab this pawn with tempo. And it's on a light square, so the bishop can't attack it. And I think I'm just up a pawn now. So he steps back. I kind of like this idea, where if he steps over, I trade this with check. I think this is the most active move. It's a little bit scary because does anything like this work? It's undefended. What's actually better? Developing my bishop. Let's just play safe. Let's just straight up play safe. I'm up a pawn. Everything's chilling. If I'm not an idiot, I won't lose this game. But I'm an idiot, so I might. He's attacking this pawn. I step forward to defend it, but then he jumps in here, attacking this. And once he takes this pawn, he's also attacking this. What if I just push? He jumps in, step back. He could try something fancy. We're going to do this. Yeah, he jumps in. The bishop is hanging. But we defend the pawn. We're ready to just push forward. He gives us a check. I feel kind of safe over here. I think stepping up would have probably made more sense. Specifically, we don't want to... Oh, if I step forward, he's got this check. So I think I have to actually just give up my bishop. Because if I step forward, he's got this check. Where if I step up, he has this sacrifice where I have to take, but then he wins my rook. We have to take it. Rook on the open file. I'm going to have to push this forward at some point. This pawn is also pretty weak. And I need to... That just lets me trade the rook. Do we attack this? My king sucks. I want my king in action, bro. I can step back and attack the rook. If I attack... Let's just attack. He can double up. If he doubles up, I attack the rook. We come in attacking the rook. If he takes, he slides in. I put my pawn in the light square. I struggle to get out in the endgame. If he plays this, I just take. So that pretty much forces this. And we're going into an endgame where I'm up a pawn, but I have the knight instead of the bishop, so I think that it's totally still equal. And my opponent has not spent any time at all. We're doing this. That's what we're doing here. And not only that, so I can play this. I'm literally going to have to spend like 10 moves trying to figure out. I think just putting the pawns on light squares because they're just not being attacked. Did I just get deep freezed, bro? We bring the king. If he hits us with check, we step back. He's got this. My pawns are completely deep frozen over here. We jump in. What's better? We attack this. He just pushes in. We hit him with check. He steps up. Here. Here. I could step over and go for a pawn push over here as well. This. What is better? I think this is pretty important, actually. Either one is probably fine. This attacks this pawn immediately. This is more centralized. I could do like this and fork these guys. We're doing this. We come back and jump in. Does he have a way of defending everything? We also have check forward. Here. This is not good. We're going for this. Wait, does that even do anything at all? This is defended. So if I attack this, he can just push or jump back. Actually, this does work. It at least applies pressure to something. But me winning this pawn, I'm in a deep freeze, and I should just explain this. No way of defending this pawn, but winning this pawn isn't actually all that great. We're going to take and then jump in, attacking the bishop. He comes here. I think we grab this pawn. We grab this pawn, then there's this check. So we go here, check. I get out. We're going here. We can come this way. We step this way. We're now attacking this. I can also remove the defender of this with this move right here. So if he plays this, I have to take. The king comes in. I hit him with this check. He moves somewhere. I hit him here. If I win this pawn, I have 3 passed pawns. But literally, this is the deep freeze. I'm going to explain this after the video. 1 pawn holding down 3. So I'm up 2 pawns, but it kind of sucks. I can also just attack first. Attack first. Move somewhere. Here. Here. Check. Let's not be foolish. Let's just play a move that makes sense. We attack this bishop. He lets go of the defense of this. I can also grab this. I'm not sure which one's more important. Okay. We're going to be all right. I'm so scared. He's kind of running out of moves. And his king is so far away from my passed pawn. And so I think that this pretty quickly just becomes the new idea. I'm just going to take. My knight is very happy on this square. We're attacking this with check and the bishop. I think that does it. That is a beautiful, beautiful knight. Doing like 3 different jobs at once. Defending ideas here, attacking the pawn, attacking the bishop. We hit this with check. He has to react to it. We jump back to the light squares. If he gets 2... We step over. 49 seconds. I think we're chilling. I just hung a pawn. I've got plenty of time. I've got 3 extra pawns. Unless he is successfully able to... Guess we're going over here. We're going to get hit with another check. Then what do I do? Step back? Jesus. He can come in, but I get here. We attack the bishop. Pushing this, like, is probably the plan. I need this king to move so I can step up. We need my king on this square, essentially. But I need this to be defended. He can't cut my king off. We're going to step forward. We step forward. We step forward. We can now potentially shield and push. Check, defended. Check. Slowly making progress, my friend. We bring the king. Jesus. Hit him with a check. A check. We push this pawn. 53 seconds. It's a slow process, but I am going to be inching my pawns forward. This one first, maybe? This, then this. We step forward again. This is held by the knight. It's not stalemate, bro. Okay. There's probably a lot of different ways that I can win this, but I think the one that I'm going to choose is this. I could, for one, just give him a check, but then he steps over. So maybe we give him a check. He steps over. We're doing this. If he tries to block, we push and distract him. We're going to make the red carpet. You got to be careful about these stalemates. He can go here. He can still go here. And when he does, he can run away as well. You just got to be careful. 42 seconds. Make gosh darn sure you're not going to get a stalemate. And so that end game was so much fun to play. He's saying, good game, well played. Good game, well played. Thank you, my friend. I'm going to tell him that I'm going to make a YouTube video out of this. And so I was completely winning. That was a lot of fun to play. But oh boy, the bishop versus the knight. I had to inch one step at a time to make a new queen. And so that was a lot of fun. And let's check out the analysis and see how accurate it actually was. And I'll see you over there. And here we are in the analysis. And that was a tedious process, pushing all of those pawns in that endgame. But if we look at the graph, there was one moment where I was in trouble. It was a tactic that neither of us saw, but then from there on out, everything was good to go. So 90% accurate, 3 blunders, 3 inaccuracies. Don't hate it. And then our opponent, 86% accurate, 3 blunders, 3 mistakes, 7 inaccuracies. And so one of my blunders was a hanging piece, like just a straight up missed win. And then the inaccuracies don't matter at all. But 2 of my blunders mattered. Yes, one of them we didn't see, so it didn't matter all that much. But let's just hop right on into it. And so e4, e5 on the board, and we play the bishop's opening, my favorite opening in all of chess. And so I have learned through experience that pushing this pawn is generally safer than bringing this knight, because stuff can happen, and I avoid it, okay? Sometimes that happens. You do something, and it works, and you just keep doing it. And yes, there's like better lines and stuff, but I'm going to just stick to what I know. And so we get the pieces developed. For one, there is a pawn hanging in the middle of the board. Definitely didn't see that, so that was the best move, and I missed it. So whatever. It's not even an accuracy, because essentially I'm just going to kind of get attacked and battered around, and there's ideas of this, and I haven't castled, so doing this to prevent the pin when all of this stuff happens makes a fair bit of sense. Now we capture, and I play this. Now this is a blunder, but it's a little bit tactical to see this. You push the pawn. My knight has to go somewhere. The computer says just forget about it and lose the knight, because I'm going to lose the bishop later. But let's just say I play something in the middle. You capture, and then at the end of all of it, the knight moved away from this checking square and is no longer defending this bishop. So he just wins the bishop for free. And so, long story short, you're making the defender move, and you're making this check available. So we both missed it. I'm grateful he didn't play that, or I would have absolutely lost the game. We step around, and that's why those moves right there, blunder, because neither of us saw that. Then we capture, trade off the queens, the rooks come in. Knight to the middle of the board. It's a risky decision, but I mean, what else was I going to do? Step back or step over here? I don't know. Knight to the middle of the board is the best move. It's undefended, and I don't have all that many great retreating squares, but it's still the best move nonetheless. Now, I have the opportunity to ruin his pawn structures for an equal trade. So obviously that is the best move. You ruined your pawn structures, and we traded a light square bishop for a light square bishop. Now, we castle. Being proactive and potentially even castling this way somehow, just being proactive would have made more sense, but I felt like being safe. So it's the difference of 0.3 of a pawn. So we're chilling. We step back. Yes, this ruins our pawn structure. We go ahead and grab this pawn. The best move is to get active. But, okay, now the best move is to take the pawn. Sometimes you got to let, stockfish think for a second. Also, we took the pawn with tempo on the bishop, so it can't be a bad move. He steps back. We develop the bishop. His knight goes to the middle of the board. We defend it. He steps over here. I step back to defend this pawn. He hits me with a check. I step over, and then his knight arrives. And so basically in this situation, we're going into an endgame where I'm up a pawn and you have a weak pawn. So trading the bishop for the knight kind of sucks for me, but trading off pieces in general sucks for the opponent. So we do trade off. We put a rook challenging the open file. He comes here. I mean, it's a reasonable move. We step over and attack the bishop, and he doubles up. And so I'm fairly certain there's just a tactic here. Like if I take and then take, I can take, take. Yes. So I could have just captured. I'm attacking this bishop. So if I take, yeah, the best move. I'm just attacking the bishop at the end of everything, and then I win this pawn. So we traded everything, but I'm but another pawn, and then I'm absolutely winning. So what I saw was forcing a trade of everything. So another blunder. It's a missed win. Neither of us saw it. Complete blunder. Missed win. We trade everything off. And so if we look at this position right here, when you are down a pawn and you have a weak pawn, you keep the bishop on, keep the rook on the board. You don't want to trade everything off, because the more stuff you trade off, the more powerful the pawns and the kings become, and I have more of them. So if you look, I have a 3-on-2, and then your pawn structure is not that great. Like, yes, this is ruined, but at least they're together, and this guy is alone. So he's a liability in all of the end games, because my king is going to run up there and touch him. Then your king has to stay touching him. It's not good, okay? So long story short, it's equal if he keeps the pieces on the board, because we got a game of chess to play. Plus he has 4 minutes and I have 2. So just thinking about that for a second, trading this off, now you willingly went into an end game where I quite easily put all of my pawns, literally every single piece in my position is on a light square. So your dark square bishop doesn't see anything ever at all. Now, I'm in a deep freeze. Now, I was trying to explain this. This can happen a lot of different ways, but this is the worst possible scenario. One pawn is preventing the forward momentum of both of mine. And so it's worse when there's no pieces on the board and my king is far away. So just imagine just this structure. Like, I can't push either pawn because he just captures. It's terrible. It's not good. One pawn is holding down my 3. So I'm up 2 pawns, but these 2 pawns suck. And so we have the process of trying to bring my king. We jump the knight to the middle. I thought about which move is better. This is the better move. We step over here, and he hangs the bishop in one move. And what happened here is I got tunnel vision. Absolutely. Tunnel vision of forking these pawns. And so, for one, taking this one with check actually is maybe better, because I can just take this with check. He does something, and then I go right back. And you can't even defend it because my knight defends this only square that his bishop can defend this pawn. So that would have made more sense. So there's like 3 knight moves that make sense. And I play the one that makes the least amount of sense, because this one's with check, this one's a free piece, and this one didn't really change anything in this position, because this is the pawn that I need to be winning. This one is largely doing nothing. Whatever. We're stepping around, and then we begin the rigmarole. I wanted to kick this bishop out because I felt like winning this pawn was more important. I guess what I really wanted here was to clarify these pawns, like get rid of all of these pawns and then just play on this over here is what I wanted. Because I was worried about, the king doing something and like trying to make a pass pawn, and the bishop's over here. My knight's kind of far away from helping. So that's what I was worried about. So whatever, we kick the bishop out. I'm so stupid. Was the whole purpose of this move was so the bishop moves so I can grab this pawn? No? Correct? And then I take this pawn that I could have taken all along. So this pawn push didn't even really make sense. So now we take with check, he takes back, and we fork his pieces. Essentially, he can't defend this. When I take it, it's with check. I'm also attacking the bishop. So he's got to do something with the bishop. I grab this with check. I guess stepping here would have made more sense because it at least attacks the bishop. Whatever, we go here. You generally want to be thinking about how to be making moves forward. And so which square is more forward? Well, it's this one. So putting the knight there with tempo on the bishop makes more sense than here. Because essentially I'm just going to have to like figure out how to move the knight forward anyway. The whole purpose of what we're doing here is we are moving everything forward is the whole idea. And so whatever. Now in this situation, my pawn is attacked and I just said, it's gone. But the situation stays the same whether I push this pawn or not. So it would have made sense to just move the pawn forward. Then you have to like waste a move trying to figure out how to even attack it because the king can't get over there and the bishop can't see it. So just pushing it one square actually kept it quite safe. I just kind of assumed he was a goner and I was going to invest in these three. Now, luckily, I'm up 3 pawns, so I'm going to win literally no matter what I play. But I do this a lot where it's like, okay, I just accept that he's dead. But pushing him forward would have preserved him till a later day at least, because the king can't even go over there and the bishop can't even see him, so now he's safe essentially. Winning this pawn would become a whole task for my opponent, and instead of that I push a pawn on the side of the board and just let him grab it for free. Didn't make any sense why I played like that, whatever. Then I can straight up just push this pawn right now. I guess I was worried about like checks and stepping away and him grabbing my knight. So I was worried about pushing this pawn and undefending the knight because the bishop attacks me and I have to step somewhere. But I can stay defending my knight from anywhere. Also, just pushing my passed pawn makes a fair bit of sense. I can just go boom, 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 boom. Like push this first. And if you start chasing it somehow, I can just defend it. And I got a chain of pawns. And I just do this same structure one step at a time. Either way, I made things a lot more complicated than they ever had to be. We're jumping around. I bring the king. The king is there. I put the knight to shield this square from the bishop so I can push this pawn. So we do push that pawn. And we push another pawn. The king's moving around. We step the king forward because my king is going to have to move forward anyway. King forward. We give a check. In between move. Give a check. Then we push the pawn. We push another pawn. Give a check. He steps back. And we bring the king up. I guess he forgot the knight was defending it. He didn't have low time. He had 3 minutes. So maybe he just gave up here and was like, screw it. I'm lost no matter what I do. It's hard to say. Maybe he thought it was a draw. I don't know. And then in this situation, all you have to do to not lose this game is just don't get a draw. And pawns on the side of the board kind of suck because they do. Okay. And so, I mean, no, they don't. All pawns are good. All pawns are good pawns. All right. But generally, my plan is the king worries about this guy. I get my king here and I push forward. And so that is literally what I go for. That is literally what I go for. Because there's probably a better way to like make a distraction or whatever. But you just don't want to stalemate. And so making the red carpet is the easiest way to go. So I know that wasn't the most accurate game. I missed a hanging bishop. I missed a tactic in the beginning. And then I made pushing these 3 pawns in the end game where literally any move was winning. I made it seem like it was a lot harder than it was. Literally, like, anybody could win that position. You just make a move and don't hang your knight. And so thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed or simply learned something, please subscribe. I'm trying to reach 1,000 and it is a long and treacherous road. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys next time. I love you. Get out of here, and more chess coming soon. Oh, hello, my fellow chess enthusiasts. We are back at it again with another epic and educational day of chess. Today, I'm 1900 with a question mark. So, who do we get the pleasure of destroying? So, if you see here, 1900 question mark, we start with e4. We check out our opponent's profile, and he is terrible at bullet. He chose e4, e5, hopping directly into the bishop's opening. And so, this is the most boring line of all, where we basically just get a symmetrical. Wait a minute. Did I blunder immediately out of the opening? Yes, I did, because I brought the knight out, and we can go into this line. And I have made videos on this, and I have studied this, and I know exactly what to do in this position. The knight comes out, and I push the pawn, because what can happen is he takes, I take, he forks us with the pawn, the queen is defending the pawn, I have to step back, he takes the knight, I take here, he takes here, black gets the center. It's not good for me, okay? So I am actually just terrible at chess. Straight up. There's no excuse for that. I have studied the opening, and I still play the wrong moves and just give him complete chances out of the opening. I don't want him grabbing my light square bishop, so I'm going to push this pawn. And then I don't want my knight to get pinned, so we're going to push this pawn. He tickles me, and now I've got a place for this bishop. We'll do the ziggity zag with the bishop. That's how the bishops move. So he's just copying me, and we have a 1000% symmetrical position going on. Completely symmetrical. And so let's dive right on into this middle game, where I did not fight for an advantage with white whatsoever. So you know what we might do? You know, I'm fairly certain he's just blundering. Am I crazy? Then he goes for my queen. I take his queen. He takes my queen. I get out with my bishop. He takes here. I take another pawn. Bro, should I just dive into it? We're going to take. He takes mine. I am flabbergasted at what's going on right now. He can grab yet another pawn and then ultimately die for my bishop here. But I can sacrifice for another pawn with check. So I think we're going to take this pawn. He's going to take this pawn. We then take this pawn. If he attacks me, bro, I am not even sure. We're just going to take this pawn. This was the most ridiculous opening I have ever seen in my life, ever. It's like we just... Okay, so now I take this pawn, right? Yeah, because his knight can get out. So I take here. I mean, I'm not even going to calculate it, bro. Like, that's... We have an absolute slugfest of a game going on right now. Okay. He took my bishop. I go ahead and take this. Was I supposed to grab this? Okay. What on earth just happened? What on earth just happened? I have no idea. I can lock my bishop into this square. I quite like the looks of that. I should probably castle. I was doing a little skincare. My face is a little like skincare. Okay. Let's just take a deep breath. What on earth happened just through all of that? I'm down 2 minutes on the clock, but I don't think it matters. Pushing this pawn forward seems to make sense, but he can pretty quickly just get away from it. Pushing seems a little bit scary. Potentially just pushing up here, but then my bishop's really trapped. What do we think about castling the opposite side? I do not know what's the correct move here. Castling this way seems kind of boring. Castling this way seems definitely not boring, but it might be more exciting for him because he's just going to attack me and I might get destroyed. We've got this pawn cube going on. What is the correct move to play in this position? Oh, dear Lord. He can just push this pawn. He can just defend it. Do I slide back? I think castling this way might be all right. But then castling this way is way, way safer. We're going with the safe option. I don't think that my attack arrives quicker by any means. He can also kind of maybe like have ideas of trapping my bishop. Okay, so he wants to just attack my knight. Cool. I mean, I'm pretty sure that I have to go back. I don't think I have too many forward options. This dies, this dies. This potentially just dies. Yes, because like what am I going to do? So what's better, this or this? I'm going to just go along with this because it keeps pressure on the pawn, defends this, and doesn't block my rook. So this would have blocked my rook in 1000%. If he pushes again, I might just take. Then he takes. My bishop is... I think, hold up a gosh darn second. I think he just had this move. No, I could have defended geometrically. Or I could have locked it in like this. If I push forward, that stops the knight from getting in, yes. But what if he goes here? Then I go here. Then he goes here. Then I go here. Slow and steady wins the race. This is really dangerous that I've got two valuable pieces on this super open file. The only open file, and I decided to occupy it with pieces that are not open file pieces. The rooks are the open file pieces. Okay, so if I go this way, he eliminates my defender. If I go this way, he attacks me, I step back, and we chillin'. So we do this. If he pushes in, I take. If he sacrifices, I take, then he takes. But then this is there. So we're going to just step back. I don't have any other option. We got to maintain. We got to maintain what's going on here. And this dude is just not afraid. So he wants to go for this. He also wants to go for this. But you know what, gosh darn it? What if I just hop into the middle of the board with the only dark square bishop on the board? Boom. You get in. Don't think I'm scared of that. We're sliding in like this. We're sliding in like this. The pawn is defended by the knight. This knight is a pretty good knight. I'm not gonna lie. That's a pretty well placed knight. It doesn't get much. It doesn't get much better placed than that. What if we just go for this? Break open. Do I dare say? I think something like this makes sense. It like puts my rook on the open file. This bishop would see it at some point, but he's got two pieces in the way. I don't really see anything else. I can also jump in like this. And getting my knight to this square would generally be the idea. Okay, so he defends. Too bad I don't have a light square bishop to go ahead and do that with. And I'm scared. Can't be a bad move. Can't be a bad move. Immediately we go for this. Activity overall. We attack this pawn all the way across the board. We create the idea of doubling up. He's got this, but I can always just step back, and that would even defend my everything. So we're gonna hop into the position. Oh dear lord. Oh dear lord. The rooks are doubling, my friend. The rooks are doubling. Your knight is beautiful, but it looks kind of stupid. Is that a free pawn? Do I dare say? We grab the pawn. You lock me in jail. Is it a free pawn? Here and then checkmate. Oh my goodness. You don't have time to lock me in jail because there's checkmate. That's what happens when the rook gets 2 squares away from the king. So we grab this. What are the options? You can't lock me in like this, I take. If you step forward, I mean, I just wiggle on out. We might do operation, touch a pawn, come right back to where we were. And then we're up a pawn. Is there something ridiculous I'm not seeing? This doesn't work because I don't know what type of checkmate, but the escaping square is taken. Without further calculation, we take here. We just go ahead and do it. This doesn't work. We on the dark squares, my friend. We are on the dark squares. This doesn't work. We on the dark squares. Running away, my rook just gets back out. So that definitely is a move. But this is still defended, my friend. Still defended. And we are now up a pawn. Not only that, this knight is pinned to checkmate. But okay, but now getting me trapped in the position. This does trap me in the position. So you know what I said? Exactly what I said. We out of here. We out of here. We got the pawn. What's up, bro? What you gonna do about it? You gonna focus on winning back this pawn? I don't think so. I'll go ahead and push it forward, lock him in on the dark squares, and then what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do, bro? I got the dark square bishop. Easy metrics to defend this knight. Oh, you want to go for this? I can step back, bro. I can even tickle your rook. No, I can't. What am I talking about? This is hanging. I step back. You step in. I mean, basically, we can't really be allowing all of this. So what if I step over, he takes, and then we fix my doubled pawns in the middle of the board? That is actually now a passed pawn. Do you really want to allow all of that? That kind of traps my rook in here a little bit. Here. Because, yeah, if he doesn't take, then I'm kind of stupid. So this is a really hoping that he takes and just gives me this. But he doesn't need to actually do that. So is stepping back the more accurate approach? Well, by golly, we're doing it. Also, we're attacking this pawn with tempo on the rook. I want to double my rooks. Like, he is super defending this pawn, but Okay, now he defends. Reasonable move. So I'm fairly certain that doubling these rooks is just a good idea. Just has to be a good idea. His bishop actually really kind of sucks here. Do I have any sort of attacking the rook? This is my least active piece, but it puts me on this file. That's what I don't like about this. We're doing it. This is a sketchy night. Do I want to bring my king? Is it time we bring my king and just touch a little bit of everything? Because this knight can go back. I don't know. He likes his knight on this square. That's like the square the knight wants to be on. I mean, it's just like applying pressure to a little bit of everything, and I can't really kick it out other than trading it with my knight, which is very difficult to do. This knight is a little bit awkward. Okay, so he wants to create these types of ideas. I think it's time to bring the knight like this. Here, 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 here. One minute on the goddamn clock. We incredibly weaken the position of my king. I have no idea if that move made any sense. But we essentially just don't want the pawn to arrive here, so he pushes and we take. Okay. You want to bring your king, bro? I will literally bring my king. Onto the light squares. Dude's got 8 minutes. You know what we need to do? We need to trade off everything in the position. He's going for this again. I'm stepping in. This knight is very happy on this square, but it actually kind of closes up the files. I'm not 1,000% convinced. And once the knight decides to like get locked in on this side of the board, I can then put my bishop back. And I believe this is called what Hikaru calls a wooden shield. Okay, so he just wants to attack. We push forward. Not even gonna think about it. This is so sketch. I need to move my my rook somewhere.